Hello everyone, welcome. Hope everyone's having a good one. I'm gonna be upfront that this is a, I have grinding to do, and it's going to be a lot of just me talking, not a lot of action, but if you haven't seen Whole C, if you haven't seen the experienced rank trading missions, I can tell you a little bit about them. I don't know every single aspect of it, but you know, I've been doing this a little bit to get, because this is probably my best bet at getting an 890. So yeah. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know what button. Do I hold, or do I press the landing button? I guess I just press it. But sometimes it feels like I have to hold it. Oh, also, it would be good to turn on thrusters. Make sure you're a little ways away, or you're gonna hit stuff. And of course people just leave stuff, because, you know, they do that. You know, people do be people. What is this? Okay. I think as of present, the best way to make money in the game currently is this experienced rank bulk trading. It's not too terrible of a grind, but it's not too terrible of a grind, but it's kind of a thing. And while the Whole C is not a capital ship, it will prepare you for flying a capital ship. I will say, so, you know. Of course, there's a bunch of things, like, they might have hinted at the Polaris being available for in-game credits, although, like, I'm not 100% sure if they actually did that. I think that might have been somebody reaching for it. Like, oh, technically, what they've said kind of would indicate this is a thing, but, you know, there's a big argument. There's a lot of arguments to be made about, you know, what the overall balance, what the overall scheme is here. Should you be able to just go out and buy capital ships? And, like, that's... people are going to agree, people are going to disagree. Okay, so sometimes it just takes a hot minute to recognize that you're in the cube, in the loading cube, and sometimes it does this, where I am totally stationary, and so the recommendation I've heard is to just move. I think, worst comes to worst, maybe exiting and re-entering might fix it. I feel like that might just break things more, honestly. This is not good. Did I? Oh yeah. It was... I did a mission at Everest, and I was assuming that Everest was broken because it was Everest and it was a lot busier. But that might not be the case. It might just be that this is relatively broken. I would say that this is a bit more reliable than freight elevators. Also, do not trust this cargo transfer bar. Only trust that it is complete when it says it's complete, and the little box will show up when you do it, so it's, yeah. And, the box will appear when the box will reappear when it is, when it's done, so you know to, do stuff. Okay, so... yeah, so, like, should the Polaris be purchasable? Should you be able to just go out and buy a Polaris for, 100 million credits or whatever? That is debatable. Should you have to go through, the mercenary guilds? Maybe. Should you have to go through somewhere like Wicklow? Maybe. Should you have to go through Wicklow to get a 890? Probably not. A Pioneer? Probably not. But, Wicklow's an entire thing. And I want to segue into saying that, that's subjective. There are people who are going to say that you should just be able to go and buy a Polaris for credits. You're going to be able to buy a crafted Polaris off of a player for credits, so, that's, so that's just a thing that's going to happen. Now we wait. I can set the waypoint here real quick. It might be obstructed. That's not the button I pressed. What? And it's obstructed. Okay, cool. It's obstructed because of the specific way that I'm angled here. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, sorry. So, 431 dropped into PTU. I'm not gonna check it out, because I think it's gonna be a pretty fast turnaround time. We went straight from Evocati to Wave 1 in... Actually, I'm sorry, am I misremembering? Is Wave 1... No. No, it's not open PTU, right? Yeah, it's Wave 3 that's open PTU, right? Or Wave 4, or it's Wave 3 and then open? Okay, I'm sorry, never mind. But we did go from Evocati to Wave 1 in a matter of hours. They very much want to get this out very quickly, which is not a terrible thing, but it's probably not going to be, super crazy. Because I think all the interesting stuff is pretty much stuff that was... Well, at least some of it was planned for 4.3, and it's getting kicked down the road. But medical gameplay is the big one that I want to talk about, and feel like I should have gotten to 5 minutes ago. But, yeah, medical gameplay, I'm excited for it. I think that the changes they're making... So we have Medgel, we have a consumable resource that is used for healing and regen. And yeah, the way that it's balanced is that if you want to heal an injury, it's 50 units of Medgel. If you want to regen, it's 100 units of Medgel. And the tier 3, the low tier bed, has a capacity of 100 Medgel. The tier 2 has, I believe, 200, and the tier 1, the high tier, has 400 units it can hold. Which is pretty decent. It's a pretty decent change. I think that it's too much. I think that it's too... That it's a very, very harsh thing, but I think I actually kind of like that for a first iteration. Because, could you imagine if it was also the Medgel is 100k? So, one canister of 100 units is 100k. Which I think is fine. I think is fine. I, like, it should be expensive. I feel like my gut reaction is to say that, that's a little expensive, but it should be. Crafting, of course, is not a thing, but when crafting becomes a thing, it'll be very interesting to see how difficult it is to craft. Yeah, I would rather it be, oh, this is actually really difficult, and and then they scale it down, where it's like, it either costs more, or it costs less to buy the med gel, or it costs less med gel to, to heal and or regen. Or the med beds have a higher capacity, or things like that. Sorry, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a pain, but it's going to be what was expected. And if, the only problem really is it's an everlasting problem with Star Citizen that, oh, what the hell? I found this game 2 months ago. What the hell is this? And it's like, well, this has actually been part of the plans, forever. Maybe not this specifically, but, this is a step in the direction that they were always intending. And if you didn't know that, it's kind of not your fault, because it's just, there's a lot of information on Star Citizen that just, is not, there's not a good place to just say, hey, this is the thing. I guess the Star Citizen 1.0 presentation is probably the best for that, but the good thing that it is that it does. Now, the only problem is that I don't know if med gel is going to be consumed for just general health. I assume it is, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not 100% sure if that is the case. So, but yeah, yeah, so my hope is to, after doing all of this hauling, is to have an 890 and use it as a home base, and at least see how that experience works, right? I think it should be fine. I'm sure there'll be some bugs. I'm sure I'll lose some loot. But we'll see. My plan will be to take the 890 and either land it or have it present above, a site. Either drive a ground vehicle to a bunker or fly a ship down. Flying the ship down 90% of the time, unless I want to do one of the drug bust missions or whatever. And we'll see how well I can. They haven't. I don't believe they've made the changes to capital ships so that capital ships suck to fly in atmosphere. Because capital ships right now, I'm pretty sure, are not really super great to fly in atmosphere, but, it will get worse. which is fine, because, like, I mean, fine to a degree. I mean, like, the smallest capital ships are meant to land on the ground. And do stuff. But, it doesn't mean it's supposed to be an easy process. Let's see, there's the Fresnel light machine gun, which I mean, it could just be ludicrously overpowered. The thing is that, like, compared to the Demco, I mean, frankly, compared to any other LMG, because the differences between energy and ballistic guns, FPS guns, is non-existent, you know? We don't have the recharging ammo stuff. So it's, you know, kind of a eh. But, the Fresnel is going to have an overheating mechanic, which is going to be an immediate downside, especially because it'll be interesting because, light machine guns explicitly should be able, like, they are going to overheat, right? It's just physics. But they are specifically designed not to overheat. At least to, you know, be able to have sustained fire for suppressive fire and things like that. And that is not really a thing that... I don't think it's really a thing that exists in Star Citizen right now. I think it probably will, but it's just not like... I'm not 100% sure if just, like, you know... Oh, there's gunfire in my general direction, I'm going to keep my head down. I don't know if that's a behavior the NPCs actually follow. Also, because, of course I have to talk about this. Take it slow. Take it slow with the Hull C. You have 4,000 SCU of cargo. You are going... Your acceleration and deceleration suck. I'm going to stop. I'm going to not put brakes on, but just start decelerating at around 10k, and we'll see how far we stop. And I think 10k is probably keeping it, you know, a bit on the conservative side here. And we're just decelerating, we're not braking. I could pull a 180. I am gonna hit the brakes now. Because otherwise we're just gonna go sail right past this, and I don't really want to do that. Okay. And if you do have problems with the ATC, you can do this in the comms menu. I'm fine with having doing it on the MFD. It's not that bad. But if they don't do anything, then just cancel the call and recall them, and it should work. Oh, I got up to speed. Oh, we're going past thing. Oh, ooh, okay. And this is, like, the most annoying thing, just because, like, yeah, because, like, I'm not moving. Alright, good. But yeah. And also, this is very nice, because it's a very good indication of how much time this takes. Now, I did upgrade the quantum drive. I have an Agni. Which I think the Agni... The guide I looked at said that you wanted the Erebus. I looked up the stats, and the Agni is faster than the Erebus as of 4.3. That obviously can and will change. Now, if you can get the TS2, that is the military quantum drive, that's faster. That would be more ideal, but like, yeah. So just keep in mind that, like, I don't know, right now my recording's at 21 minutes. You know, it might have been 23 minutes if I was using the stock quantum drive. And I would usually go with just the more fuel efficient, to be completely honest with you, but when it's, when you're trying to do a money per hour type deal, it's kind of a big one. If I was, if I'm doing something just around a planet, then yeah, fuel efficiency is, it's not like super, super important, but it's, I'd rather, like, being slightly slower is not that much of a detriment. Oh, and it looks like I didn't get all the crates, which is fine. For all of the, as of right now, for all of the hauling missions, like, if you do some trading and the freight elevators just don't work, but you did bring some cargo, and it can even just be one SU of cargo, you can still submit the mission and get rep. You will get paid dependent on how much cargo you delivered, but it's better than abandoning the mission. It'll probably change in the future, but for right now, I'm at Magnus. I have had a mission where, like, it said, hey, pick stuff up at Magnus, and then it swapped to deliver to Magnus, and I was like, that's not cool. But usually Magnus does not have the 700k missions, unfortunately. So you are going to have to supplement it with, like, something like this. Which is fine. It's, the alternative would be going to Terra Gateway. Would be going to Terra Gateway without having any cargo to do, and at least, like, this isn't as much money, but it is something, which is, And you'll notice, like, the difference in speed is definitely a thing. Which is kind of interesting and kind of fun. It'll definitely be an interesting thing to see with the larger hulls, but I don't know if I even remotely really want to get involved with the larger hull ships. Those ships definitely, like, they exist for, well, when station building becomes a thing, the whole E will make a lot of sense. Until then, eh. But yeah, Oh yeah. Okay, so the Fresnel. Okay, so the Fresnel is a thing. I'm super excited to see what weapons if they go with a weapon manufacturer and just try and flesh out an existing manufacturer or a new manufacturer. There are several companies that exist in lore for weapons, armor, ship components. If you look on the Galactopedia and just take a gander through armor manufacturer tag or weapon manufacturer tag or anything like that, you can find some interesting things. I think I've mentioned Armitage Weapon Manufacturing, which is kind of like Virgil. Virgil Defense Limited makes armor, and Armitage makes weapons. I think they're both headquartered out of Vega 2, and then you also have Kastak, who does weapons and armor, and are based out of Vega 3, which is kind of just an interesting... I really hope that that's a dichotomy that gets played with. And Armitage is, like, specifically militia weaponry. Like, if they were going to make a gun, I think they would probably make what the AK is in reality, versus Lightning Bolt would make a gun that looks like an AK, and Kastak makes a gun that fits, like, the persona of the AK. Which, I mean, I don't know necessarily where the sort of vibe of, oh, the AK is this heavy-hitting rifle, this heavy-hitting, inaccurate thing, you know, came to be, but it is what it is, I guess. But I mean, the AK in reality is just a solid, reliable, you know, simple gun. So, that's to segue into the OMC Heavy Utility Armor, which on Reddit so far has been quite the spectacle. A lot of people don't like it. There are some people who really like it. I'm kind of like... I like the chest piece and the legs. The helmet, I'm really like... it's so close. It's so close. But it's like really blocky. It's very angular. Comedically angular. And it looks like you literally would not be able to move, like, to rotate your head side to side, because of, like, the, not pauldrons, I guess the straps, like the armor that's over your shoulder, and also it's utility armor, so it's not going to have the combat visor, presumably anyway. The real question in my mind is, OMC is, as far as I know, the OMC are the pirates in Squadron 42. Now, like, does the OMC manufacture their armor, and maybe they're just an armor manufacturer that doesn't exist on the Galactopedia? That could be possible. I'm definitely not going to say that, oh, pirates can't manufacture their own armor. They, you know, have to have, you know, armor that's stolen, or, you know, they've stolen the blueprints and are manufacturing some other company's armor illegally and just repainting it or something, or capturing it and repainting it or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. Absolutely, you could have, hey, there's a pirate gang, an outlaw gang that's manufacturing their own armor. I don't know what the story is on it. The the armor looks very professionally well made for it to be some random pirate armor. Especially like in Star Citizen, like what I'm wearing right now is piratey armor, which, you know, it's got duct tape on it. It's, you know, got you know, it has a makeshift, a decently high quality, high quality like EVA system thing, which is not what I'm seeing when I look at that heavy utility armor. It's definitely a thing though. It is definitely a thing. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I really hope that they learn and don't do a bundle of a weapon, armor, and ship paint. I really hope that they do them separately and have the bundle as a cheaper option. I really, like, I have $10 of store credit. I have $10 worth of store credit. I would throw it at, like, depending on what the armor looks like, maybe I would throw it at the armor. Because I'm like, I think I need some heavy armor. I need some heavy armor. And that is absolutely something that would be good. I might like that. The green one is very much the exact palette for Master Chief, and I love it. And also it looks like it's EVA armor, so, like, you know, that's also a thing. In the future, whenever there's the, you know, armor archetypes, I don't know how well the and yes, we are going way too fast. Just have to make sure I'm not pointed at something, and then I can do this. Yeah, I do like the legs and the chest piece. I don't know exactly which arms and helmet I would use, especially if I was using the green. But it is definitely a thing, right? Like, it'd be very nice. And I hope that it's, yeah. It does a pretty good job of just putting the area right next to you. And I can't wait for these, like, I really do like the auto-loading. I really like the auto-loading. If freight elevators worked, and there was more reliable trade tools, or, like, I don't know, let's say I enjoyed mining, and just, it wasn't a matter of, like, putting up risk of things, it's just, hey, this place is selling, or this place is buying copper, I'm gonna go mine a bunch of copper and refine it and get it and sell it, you know, that kind of a thing. If auto-loading and unloading was a thing for, if it was a thing for other missions, I would love it. I would love it a lot. I might be blocking things. Don't know why that broke, but that happens sometimes. I'm trying to think if I've honestly seen that happen. I don't think I have. I think I have like once, but it's very uncommon to like complete the mission, but it just doesn't tick over and auto-complete. So you just have to submit yourself and like submit yourself to the Bovalex cargo gods. I probably want to orient myself here so I can just go full blast in one direction. The difference between fully laden and completely empty is amazing. I feel like if I just wait a second here... I don't know if, like, if you smoothly go in and, like, just stop, has a better chance of recognizing. And we're gonna be obstructed again. No, we're not. Good. And let's see, what's my money at? So after I bought the whole C, I had like 7 million credits. I don't know exactly how much I had, but you know. That was Thursday, and today is Saturday. I've just started stuff. I kind of want to just literally no-life it today and just try and get up to the requisite. I want to, you know, gotta make sure I have a little bit left over. Because if I just, like, buy an 890, for one thing, the 890 is gonna get a discount when the second drive, ends. So that's a thing. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just remembering there are other things I probably want to say. So, I mean, we also had a pretty sizable, pretty interesting, monthly report. We had kind of a very disappointing Squadron 42 newsletter, where it's like, it showed some stuff, but it was a PNG, not a newsletter. And I mean, it's like, whatever, but also, when you promise that, like, if you promise a newsletter, deliver a newsletter. If you can't do it, then say you can't do it. You know? And I mean, like, it's a little infograph of stuff, and it has, like, some pictures and stuff, but, you know, it is what it is. What was I gonna say? There's not too much that I can really remember off of the monthly report. I remember, like, the crafting had its first prototype, had its first multiplayer prototype, which I can't remember when, but I think in, like, January, February, or March, they had a thing, they talked about crafting, and it was like, oh, it's, like, feature complete or something. I can't remember exactly what the word was, but, it was kind of like, oh, it's pretty far along. And now, you know, 6 months later, oh, it's the first working prototype has been tested, or is working, or whatever exactly they said. And it's like, I'm not saying that they're being disingenuous, I'm just saying that, like, the language sometimes, like, the language that they use sometimes isn't going to mesh with what people think it means. And maybe that's on them, maybe that's on the person for just not knowing the term. Or exactly what, like, you know, like, what does gold standard mean? And to several people, it might mean several different things. And, you know, again, it's not necessary, not to say that the entire community is incompetent, not to say that the developers are incompetent, just to say that there's maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there. And frankly, it would be a lot better if there was some other way to maybe, you know, give out this information, like through a video that could very clearly illustrate this is how far the crafting mechanic is along. But I guess I don't know. I still think it's kind of ridiculous that they, ISC can't have a show at least have a show every week. I mean, okay, not like, okay, the fact that it's, you know, if it was Star Citizen Live or an Inside Star Citizen every week, then fine. Whatever, okay. Instead of Inside Star Citizen and a Star Citizen Live, aside from when it goes on a hiatus, you know, like, okay, that's fine, that's whatever. Like, but yeah, it just seems insane to me that, like, they can't do that. I don't understand why they can't do that. Because, yes, like, developers are busy, I get it, but, like, I'm not asking, like, each developer to give an hour out of their day. I'm not asking them to give an hour out of their week. I'm not asking them to give an hour out of their month. I'm asking maybe, like, an hour out of their quarter. Now, I'm sure that the ISCs, like, they record, it's pre-recorded, they have to go to a script, or do an interview thing, and they probably do several takes, and I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, no, actually that, like, takes more time than Star Citizen Live. And if it was just a Star Citizen Live, you know, every other week, reliably every other week, that would also be fine, I think. Like, I think that definitely they need to keep their open development stuff. They need to do better with their open development stuff. They need to do better with video content. Especially during the development of the game. Because, like, after 1.0 goes live, and they start getting more and more stuff done, there's going to be a time where, yeah, open development video content maybe doesn't make a huge amount of sense. Like, in the, like, the quantity we get now would make more sense in a post 1.0 thing. There's still going to be features after 1.0, but there's not going to be, like, there's probably not going to be a lot of things to talk about, but narratively, probably. Narrative probably might be a thing, and, yeah. Sorry, I was also going to say that, I think with the medical stuff, there are a lot of people who are excited. You have to temper expectations. Medical beacons are not a guarantee that they're coming back in 4.3.1. They did not, when they were describing, there's a whole page on life, death, and life again, explaining some stuff about, in the comm link, about the medical changes. In the medical changes, when they were talking about beacons, they did not mention, they said that it was going to be 15,000 credits to put a medical beacon. And that is garbage pay for what you're asking a medic to do. So, yeah. And they, in, sorry, at CitizenCon, they explicitly mentioned that that price was going to be subsidized by, like, an org. And, they didn't say that it was going to be, or there was going to have anything of, yes, you put up 1,500 credits. If you're a medic, you're going to be paid that 1,500 credits and a subsidized 50k or whatever. No, they just said the 15,000k. I'm sorry, the 15k, and that's it. 15000. That is the number. Sorry. Which is also another important thing with the guild stuff. We're not going to have the reputation system. We're not going to have the beacon rating system. So, like, all of that stuff, which is really good and the game needs, isn't going to be in there if the medical beacons even make their way back. So, like, 431 is going to hit like a ton of bricks. It just is. And there's nothing you can do about it. But yeah. I would feel bad if I didn't complete this mission. At least before ending, so, you know, that's a thing. What else is there to talk about? They mentioned proximity looting in the monthly report, which I don't know exactly how that's going to look, but I assume it's you open the inventory and you can just look at any inventory, whether that be a corpse or a box, around you, and it's going to be a little bit, it's hopefully should be a little bit cleaner. I think it was proximity looting, so it's going to be a modification of the loot screen, probably, but we'll see. Oh, also, second drive. While second drive is going, I don't know exactly when when resource drive is going to end. But it's probably going to end when 431 goes live. And if you have not finished it, I have not finished it fully. I'm not going to finish it fully because the freight elevators are broken. But if you have better freight elevator luck than I do, if you have better freight elevator luck than I do, you will find that the recovery missions have the ship recovery missions have more cargo in them. They used to have like around 100 SCU, a little over, and now they're like just full. Which is nice, but completely worthless if you can't turn it in at the freight elevator. So, and maybe it's just Hurston, which would suck, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and, you know, there's not much I can do about that. I really don't care beyond, because, like, are you going to tell me that the Strata armor, that when crafting comes in and when all the painting stuff comes in, are you going to tell me that I can't make an all-black set of armor? It's presumably I won't be able to put a decal on it, but I didn't want the decal anyway. Alright, and I'm gonna overshoot here. Oh. Also make sure that you have your thrusters at max so that your afterburner will recharge faster. Do not worry about time. I think the worst thing that happens is that you have your cargo area taken away and you have to just call the ATC again. Which is fine. But yeah. Do you think that the sides of these are just going to be replaced with freight elevators? And like docking ports? I could see that being a thing. Oh, beautifully done. Mostly beautifully done. Alright. Are we good? We are good. Let's... What else there? I mean... There's the third part of the Onyx facilities, which... I don't know, I mean... Like... It's going to be interesting seeing how they change things around, because that armor, obviously, that armor is going to be... You're going to loot that armor from the third wing of the Onyx facilities, so it's going to be a whole thing. And as such, that should be interesting. I'll probably do it and get some of the armor, and maybe I'll use it, maybe I won't. I mean, I'm rocking medium armor, and heavy armor just makes more sense overall, but in the game right now, so that's a thing. But yeah. Yeah, I am not hugely looking forward to doing this grind. That's, like 1.6 or 1.5 to 1.6 million credits an hour. Like, I really do wish that there were more mercenary missions that were a bit faster. But honestly, I'm thinking, looking at the time, I'm thinking that one of these missions that gets me 700k is I probably can do it as fast, theoretically, as an 890 mission, which pays 90k. And I was thinking that, oh, no, it's definitely better, because, I can do 2 890 missions in the time it takes me to do one of these things, which this still obviously would pay out way multiple times more, but, it's a thing. I can tell you, though, I am not going to be doing this on stream. But I am, again, probably going to try to just grind this out as much as possible. If I have an 890 by the time I stream this, it's gonna be, the next time I stream this is gonna be insane. And I think physically impossible. I stream Star Citizen on Sundays, and sometimes Wednesdays, a lot of Wednesdays, lately. Also Minecraft on Mondays, RPGs on Fridays at twitch.tv/Rylu with an underscore at the end. If you want to check me out there. Until next time, have a good day. Great to even. Chowskis.